Good evening. Welcome to WooTube. My name is Baram Woo, and today I'm going to experiment with running music in the background while I'm talking and see if it works and sounds okay, and like what kind of volume levels I need. To do this, I kind of need to wait for this song to finish. Okay. We've got some voting going. I didn't open up this voting, but Axu has taken it on himself to throw out what he clearly assumes are the only two versions of Prav, and I don't think that we're playing either of them really. I mean, shell game's interesting because what do you call shell game? Like, I call shell game just sticking free completely, like, or just sticking stuff out, not defending any of it, and hoping that they run the right things and not the wrong things, right? So I don't think we're doing that. I guess with traps and those kind of things. So we're not doing that, and I don't think we're doing RPC Bill because I actually think those games are a bit boring. And I'm amazed that no one, like, maybe I've just been spoiled by who I've been playing Prav against. It could very much be that. So firstly, someone in the tiebreakers, Gaston, has been working on various Prav lists for the yonks, and NAPD Corner is a cool idea actually. Like, I hadn't thought about that, but we could consider it. But has been putting out some really good lists and having some pretty decent success with some of them. Sort of noting or coming across some particularly key cards which can make Prav really powerful and impactful. And so I've been kind of playing against those lists a fair amount when Nathaniel's been testing, and also Andy, aka 66, aka 6010, in my local meta, he's been playing a lot of Prav. And neither of them are doing either of those things. Neither of them's playing like shell game, neither of them's playing RPC Beal, which I think is like a pretty risky, like RPC Beal is probably super risky right now, considering you can really only play one RPC. Maybe you can play two, because now that you've got access to Sudden Commandment, you have a way to like not play Biotic. But realistically, you are probably only playing one RPC, and there's a lot of copulation going around right now. And if the RPC goes on a copulation, you're you're screwed. Meteor. You still don't get what the ID does if the opponent just sits there and builds rig. I'm going to show you. Because you can make Prav lists which are incredibly threatening if the opponent decides to not do anything. It's all about, in my opinion, forcing either interaction or forcing cards which, like, force the runner to run and give you your Prav trigger. And then if you're getting your Prav trigger, what are you doing with your Prav trigger? But I think there are decent things. Quickly, obviously, it is now officially off meta month. We're at 2nd of December. So yesterday we saw Eclipse on the 1st. Pretty fun, actually. Like, this was, I think, a lot more varied than I was maybe expecting, but we saw like quite some like pretty interesting lists in the sort of top decks. We saw versions of MTI. We saw an Argus up there, which was pretty cool. We saw we've got some of them here. We definitely saw some Geist. Geist seems like very powerful from a runner side, but it definitely felt like a corp dominant meta. A lot of the corps which did really well were completely undefeated. Some of them have been published. This is, for instance, Augustus Caesar's MTI, which is just kind of disgusting. MTI is a very powerful ability. It's an economic ability as well as a like tempo ability. It allows you to rush out as well as it allows you to rush out whilst also glaciering up, which is kind of nuts, right? Like any ID which allows you to like, I'm just going to push behind like one or maybe no pieces of ice, and threaten to score, but also then allows you to, if they do start to contest, you're just going to like be able to turtle up and build up a time. Like insane. And understandably this ability was restricted. So Eclipse, you could play restricted cards, of which you could just play one out of like a list of stuff, and there was a bunch of stuff which was banned as well. This was Augustus's Geist, which came second, calling out the fact that I know Augustus stuck 3 compilations in like last minute and said that this was like the key card of the whole tournament for them. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like that. Like Geist is great. Playing 2 hostages, because basically the quicker you get your engine online, the better. And I think probably the hostages are the difference between the Geist decks and the Haley decks. Haley seemed like a very powerful deck. It had a load of money, but firstly, the Haley decks were somewhat missing win cons, and if they didn't draw their Aethops very early, then they just floundered. Odd Radish, I played Gypstad Self-Destruct Chips ETF. Have you published? Because I need to see that deck if so. That's very... Self-Destruct Chips is a bit of a pet card of mine. This was Giat's list. Shout out Giat, who posted a Blue Sun list as a working kind of prototype, if you like. And I said, why aren't you playing Cloud Eater in Blue Sun, and where are your eminent domains? Both of which made it into this cut, which is really cool. Tuno was on Shop Noise, which is a very, very good name. So this is Personal Workshop, Aesop's Pawn Shop, and then just Noise with like Deja Vu is obviously like a nutty good card in Noise. Recurring 2 viruses is insane, especially when you've got things such as cash and you just get the money back. You've got ways through sort of ice by using... I was about to say Botulus, but obviously you haven't got Botulus because that pack wasn't here. Tudo's list was so toxic, it does look pretty toxic. You're playing double noise because you're also like putting down an Augustina. Augustina's been like, I feel like a little bit of a pet card for Tuno. We've seen Augustina like turn up in their lists more than maybe anything else. Surprisingly little GFI. Mika, I was expecting people to do 3-pointer Asmari with GFI. Well, there's a really good reason why you don't do that, because it doesn't actually help in any way. The only way in which like 6-point Asmari or any 6-pointer deck, if it's got like 3-pointers and 3 GFIs, the only way that actually helps you is if they steal all 3 GFIs. Because otherwise, like them losing 2 points, they still have to steal 3 agendas no matter what. So you'll normally see GFI alongside 2-pointer decks, because that's where it's actually benefit for you. We saw Cobalt's list on stream. I assume this is theirs, which was just like a really, really strong late game engine. As soon as I saw this on stream, I was sad that I don't think anyone was playing like Security Nexus Mercury. Like, that sounds like pretty hot to me. I knew that I couldn't play, so like I didn't spend much time like thinking about decks which could have been done apart from when people kind of threw up suggestions. Eden's got their Gagarin deck with, yeah, they're on Hearts and Minds. I feel like Hearts and Minds in Gagarin is potentially really, really strong. This is just scoring out. I'm just going to score out. They're playing the Technico. Super cool. Contract Killer, I think this card probably should have seen more play based on stuff which was around. Bar, you should have been playing Tech Nest. I should have. But I knew I wasn't going to be able to play, so, you know, what are you going to do? And then I don't know if anything else has been. I want to see Cobra's decks. I need to get Cobra to post their decks, because Cobra turned up with like ETF, which was basically good stuff ETF, but was playing like a really fun, like one of my favorite little combos here of playing Heinlein Grid, which is a region and says whenever a runner loses or spends a click during a run on this server, they lose all credits in their credit pool, which is probably rubbish unless you are playing cards such as Pulse, which rob a click when they are when they're res. This was really fun because I'm pretty sure it worked. I can't remember. It was definitely one of the decks which I played against Cobra on stream as a like, I'm gonna try and counter your unlimited money Shaper deck, and I think it popped off because we got the like Pulse into Heinlein. But yeah, like really, really cool. Just published the core ETF. Hopefully chat filter doesn't eat link. It probably will, Radish. But it's here, so we're all good. Okay. So this is coming from the Odd Radish London Beeblum sort of crew, which is normally a good sign. Free Marcus Batty, pretty disgusting. Free Gypstad Grid, pretty disgusting. Self-destruct chips, like you score this off a Gypstad Grid, ugh, gross. No fast advance, which would be a shame, but like probably too expensive. But like fast advancing a self-destruct chips off a Gypstad Grid is probably pretty cool. We've got some interesting icing here. I think actually Harkal is a pretty good option. Like, this is very relevant considering what we're looking to do in terms of our win con. This is a card I don't know. Gyri Labyrinth. The runner's maximum ham size is reduced by 2 until beginning of the course. That is a great piece of advice. 2 cost. Brilliant. In this particular deck, I can see that. Victor is a really solid dice, which is a shame doesn't exist anymore. The Bifrost apparently should have been the 2-1. Yeah, 100%. I guess because this isn't when scored. This isn't when scored. This is technically when scored. Yeah, this should be the 2-1. I would even say that possibly you should be on 3 of the 2-1s. Although then you're on 12 agendas. That's probably a bit. You can kill off Gyri Batty easily. Oh, I don't doubt it, actually. Yeah, because that's like 2. That's like reduced by 2. And then you've nicely got like a couple of neural EMPs in here just to finish the runner off. That's a cool deck. I like that. Trash all virtual resource. Oh, this is the one which forfeits an agenda. Yeah, I guess that's if self-destruct chips. Oh no, if this is swapped out or sacked off, then it doesn't count anymore. That's a shame. Yeah, bifurcation. I think I'd be playing bifurcation, but you would be on like a ton of agendas if so. Maybe I'd play a third. But then you do want to score stuff off chips, Dad. Anyway, either way, this looks cool. And it's ETF, so like you've just got money like rolling in. Yeah, Eclipse, like I kind of caught bits and pieces. I was floating in and out of the stream. Excellent commentary done by Council, and Axie was there too. Seriously, good, nice job by Axie and Council. I enjoyed kind of listening to the wonders which were being cooked up and displayed. Next weekend, so coming Saturday, depending on your time zone, it's either early in the morning, sort of a very reasonable evening time, or slap bang in the middle of the night. On the Saturday, we've got Chimera, which genuinely I think is the most fun, like, silliness you can have playing Netrunner. Oh, don't be too sad, Axu. I was joking. I think you did a very good job. And then on Sunday, at the same time, right? No, this is at a different time. This is at like really good time if you're whatever AWST is. Is that America? I don't know. This is Pacific, right? Pacific time, PST. Is that Pacific time? I'm quite bad at knowing what the time zones are. But at some point, you could, if you're in the UK, you could wake up at 5 a.m. to play Purge, which is potentially the most corrupt of all of the tournaments which is happening, because this is the only one in the entirety of everything here that allows you to play SVA. And if you're not familiar with SVA, I'll need to remember what it's actually called. Salvaged. So this card, just in case you're not familiar with it, and essentially I'm not really familiar with it. I've never played with this card. It was the only time it's ever been legal while I've been playing Netrunner was a very short period of time where they made Eternal. Everything was legal in Eternal. They took all the like breaks off and they said everything goes for like a short period of time. People went crazy and people were milling the corp out turn 2 using SVA. So this card is a 0 cost resource that says you can trash it, and it says the corp trashes the top X cards of R&D. X is the amount of damage you have suffered this turn. Use this ability immediately after having taken damage. And this card was released in standard format. Like back in the day, this was a Red Sands card. This is the fastest card to ever hit the ban list. I think it was around for 2 weeks or something crazy like that. It didn't even make a whole cycle. it was probably thought to be like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool. We're gonna like mill like, you know, 1 or 2 cards if people take damage. Maybe this is like a anti-damage, anti-PE kind of deck card. But it turns out that if you have cards such as Amped Up, then which A does a damage and B gives you a load more clicks to do more damage. And in Eternal, if you are also playing things like Running Hot, which, as it's the same card, does a damage and gives you more clicks to do a damage or do more damage, you can like have this second turn sometimes where you just mill out the entirety of the corp, or so much of the corp that is impossible for them to win, or you just win by running archives if they have like stealable agendas. Because you can combine it with things like Zero, which does a damage. You can combine it with, if you're playing, we talked about this card last week and I've already forgotten its name, but you can play the Criminal Hardware, which allows you to choose where you're doing the damage from. And this is where it's like really, really busted. And I'll remember that card in like 2 seconds, because then when you like hit your Running Hot, then you Titanium Ribs is exactly what I'm looking for. So this card, like, this was one credit and allowed you, firstly it did 2 damage, so that's good if you've got an SVA down. That's gonna mill 2 more cards. And then this allows you to choose exactly which cards from your hand get trashed whenever you do damage. So you can play 3 of these, you play like SVA, and then every time you like do a damage using Amped Up, Running Hot, Zero, running with Bankar, installing a Reciprocite, restoring Reciprocite. I don't know how you spell Reciprocite. Recip. How is it not REC? Recip. Screw knows. Doing any of these things, you choose what you hit, and if you hit something like an I've had worse, assuming that it was meat damage or net damage, or you hit a Steelskin Scarring, assuming that it's any damage, or you hit nowadays like a Strike Fund, for instance. So you can choose to hit these cards, so you're like doing damage but also drawing cards, getting all of the benefit, none of the bad things. Respiricites. Yeah, there we go. Cheers, Gogo. Coming to my aid there. Anything like this which you could like install or play, it did a damage, and preferably had like an advantageous like side to it. Like I could totally see you playing something like see, this is where like I'm really good at knowing cards. I'm really bad at remembering card names. So I just have to like make a deck. I know exactly where to find a card at any one point. I can tell you it's if you tell me any card, sometimes even just what it does, Luna or afterwards, I can probably tell you like its influence, its cost, what it is, what where it like lives. I couldn't tell you its name, but for instance, you probably like you could probably play something like Basilos Synthland with SVA, so that you have like again more clicks and this does damage and blah 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 blah. Yeah, you definitely want to play Marrow Meteor, I think. Ghost Stung maybe, like depending on your events and depending on what you can fit into your deck. And if you're playing, you can now play SVA in Essa, which just feels even more disgusting. And yeah, there you probably want to play Ghost Stung. You're going to have some events which you're going to want to play. Bar and Wood. Tell me what Pachinko does. Pachinko is a 1 cost, either 1 or maybe 2 influence barrier. It's 4 strength. It's 1 to res, sorry. It's got 2 subs. Both of them say end the run if the runner is tagged. You only ever found it in Acme, and it was a solid, like, early stopgap. However, it was massively like it was a worse version of IP block. So when IP block became a card, Pachinko basically disappeared, because why would you play Pachinko when you could play IP block? Occasionally some people played like 3 IP block, 1 Pachinko, just so that you had that like early hard to break barrier in Acme, so you could get something like a daily quest running. Yeah? For anyone who doesn't believe me, boom. 1 influence. Honey Farm, what did that do? That was a neutral asset which it either, I think it cost, but like it made the runner lose 1 credit when they accessed it, and it fired from archives, which it was like one of the archives traps, but it was the worst of all the archives traps. Like you'd play like Space Camp before you played Honey Farm. And Space Camp, I tell you what, there was some potential for some wild Eclipse Space Camp decks. But yeah, Honey Farm, yeah, I think it's lose 1. I think it's 0 influence, and I assume it's free to res. Yeah. Nailed it. Cool. Right. Do we need to talk about... Oh, not there. Silver Star? Why only a silver? And then after that, so obviously there will be Weekend After that. There is Eternal going on, which I would love to play in, and I hope to play in, but we shall see. And Cold Lava is also running a Random Access Memories, which would require me to wake up at 5. Oh no, this one's running in the evening on Sunday. Interesting. I'll have to see if I can... Actually, I think we're away this weekend. That sucks. And I haven't got round to working out... Oh no, restart... Yeah, I have got round to working out. You need to work harder for a gold star. Give me a harder card. Okay. Let's build some Prav. Or I have a Prav. But maybe we will build from the like start up, because from the start up, that's not correct, but from the floor up. Because I think actually, oh, hold up. Koga has loaded Eclipse decks. Koga was playing Da Vinci. I did not know that. That's so fun. I love Da Vinci. This is like SMC, but better and worse. This is Da Vinci is Arasana on a program before Arasana was thing. All the spy cameras, 1 levy. That's nice. Oh yeah, like I just realised that Coca was playing 2 hostage with 3 meeting of the minds. I think that's pretty solid. I mean, this is connections, connection, not connection, connections, not connection, not connection, connections. So like meeting of the minds pretty good here. You can also draw a ton of cards with Geist, have like 12 cards in hand, and play Meeting of the Minds for free or for a plus money. Da Vinci breaks JNet. Oh, I so am unsurprised by that. Like, this is kind of nuts. Also on the reclaim, I think that's a solid slot, considering you can't play Clone Chip and Tech Trader. But I like that. We are not playing Catty Jones for Meeting of the Minds. I mean, you're not searching for Catty Jones for Meeting of the Minds, that's for sure. And then Koga playing Asa, saying it probably should be in Engineer in the Future. This was... Oh, yeah, so I liked this. So Koga was on like working prototype warm reception build, which, bearing in mind the like decks in Eclipse, which turned out to be really good. I mean, Haley didn't actually make much of a showing, but Geist did, who had like a ton of resources. The Anarch decks had a ton of resources. Like Cobra Bubbles was on a DLR deck, and it was just like all resources. And so if you could like set up a working prototype engine, then you could just bounce all these very powerful resources back to hand. Kysra, I drafted a deep dive Geist for Eclipse. That sounds hype. How are you getting extra clicks? Were you using Thingy? No, that wouldn't work. What? No, that wouldn't work. There used to be a criminal hardware which gave you extra clicks. Like, kind of interesting. Bath Fule would have been pretty horrific. That's interesting. You couldn't play Stop Buyback, could you? I assume that was like not available. London and I tried, unsurprisingly. Oh yeah, Game vs Siphon's probably really tricky. Like if you just keep getting siphoned, you just don't have money in that deck. Me too. I was expecting people to play Poison Vilegeist. Yeah, Poison Vilegeist is pretty hot, especially if you've got like you know, your Kongamatos and things like that, and Reclaim to get it back. But yeah, you could just play E3 feedback filter, like even just a one of them. So E3 is a card which this probably would have been legal. It was trace amount, so yeah. So this is what Poison Vial was based on, where it used to cost a credit, but it didn't run out. So technically, Poison Vial is like cheaper because it's free for the first 3 times you use it, but then it runs out, and you either have to reinstall it or you have to recharge it. Whereas you could just play E3 feedback implants, and you could play this alongside cards such as Kongamato. So you break first subroutine, and then you pay credits using the E3 for the other 2, or you can use it with the kind of classic is the Geist program, which breaks all but one subroutine, which I can't remember what it's called. Like I say, I can tell you what it is, I can tell you its influence, I just can't tell you the name. That's where I fail. Hannah has a bit. Yeah, I think Hannah turned up in most of the Geist decks and was like pretty good. Hannah is a like good Geist card. Grappling Hook, yeah, there you go. That was like always the classic. All of these kind of decks just make me really long to play, and like I'll tell you what, so if I wouldn't be playing this deck because it's good or would have anything, but Axu is running Time Traveler, which is on Sunday the 29th, which you can play a deck from like any time in history and just play it. Like no restriction, as long as it was legal then, and it wasn't from the time where SDA was legal, then you could play it. And if I was going to do that, I would want scrolling back to play. Still scrolling back. It's going to be back here somewhere. I would want to play Adam XX. Hopefully it's here somewhere. Oh no. Maybe it's on... I think it might be on a different account. Oh, that's really sad. Let's see if it's in my Jinteki account, because that's the deck which I most want to go back and play again and see if it's like, it was one of my favorite decks of all time. Here we go. So this, at least a version of this is like what I would totally love to play. So this was Adam with 3 tech traders. It probably should have had at least 1 hostage. But it played 3 tech traders, and then it played an absolute ton of things which you could trash. So it had same old thing, that's got a trash on it. Logic bomb, that's got trash on it. Technically, Citadel Sanctuary does. Technical Writer has a trash bin on it. Clone chips. Brain chip was just his console. And then the Breaker Suite was basically 3 copies of Deus Ex. This is how it broke everything. It got out a Panchatantra using Emergent Creativity. So Emergent Creativity was your best way of getting out like anything from your deck. You got out your Panchatantra with an early Emergent, and then you turned any ice into an AP ice using Panchatantra. Panchatantra is like Palangi, but like weird. You could encounter a piece of ice. You could turn it into a subtype, or add a subtype. Sorry, gained a subtype, which was quite important for Sadia Data, which ended up in this list at some point. So it gained a subtype, and then that meant that you could make it gain AP, and then you could use Deus Exes to break any ice. And this broke like basically any ice. It was also playing Abigail and Damara, which were like also had trash costs on them and were like really good at bypassing singular pieces of ice. And most of the sentries were AP anyway, so you got through them anyway. And then you just kept like getting back your Deus Exes and your Abigails and your Damaras either with clone chip, or you use compile. And once you've played a compile, you can just same old thing the compiles. Super cool. And the one thing that this deck was missing, because when I first built this deck, it was actually in Woo. It was a Woo deck, and you would Woo out of Deus Ex and run. But it didn't have space for a win con. And so eventually I was like, well, what if I just put it into Adam, who's already got like logic bombs, which have trash like bins on them, and then I've got a win con already because I am Adam, and I have not always be running installed. I've got Find the Truth installed, and I can just like run HQ, see 2 cards from HQ. If there's an agenda on the top, go and get it. I can break sentries 6 times. No. I can break sentries. I think it's like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then all over again with the levy. So like 23. 1 per turn, yeah, but you've normally got other stuff down, and sometimes you can just like pay to get through stuff. Like this was so fun, and you didn't need to like run. Oh, this wasn't like a reg deck because you were Adam. You'd just like make 1 key run a turn, and then, or sometimes not even that, like, so, or you're just like dirty laundry the bin or something, and then if you see an agenda, then you go and get it. So you could be very like specific about where you were running. So you didn't need like a ton of stuff. And in the late game, this made so much money that you can just pay, like you had no problem just paying through stuff with Damara and Abigail. Like in the early game, you're just bypassing and breaking everything for free, and in the late game, you're breaking it for like loads of money. But I'd like want to go back and play this. This was a ton of fun. Right, let's build a Prav deck. Oh my gosh, we've got to go right up, back up to the top. So, here is a few things which we definitely want in here. I want to take a bit of inspiration from a process, and I think that what we're going to be doing is we're going to be playing quite a lot of assets because we want people to run a lot. So like just building up a load of ice doesn't make much sense. We want to get those Prav triggers, but we're also going to have like kind of must trash assets on the board and stuff which is very bad if they don't trash it, because it's going to really push us forward. So I want to play AR enhanced security, because this is going to be like a really good way of like dealing with it. Yes, this is going to be Prav for standard. Now AR enhanced security is a free one agenda, and that's going to become important in a second, because scoring just an AR enhanced security is good. It's like all right, but it is only 1 point, and that's a bit slow for what we're going to do. So what we're actually going to be trying to do, or if we can, is we're going to be scoring it off of king making, because now, okay, if we just like manage to score an early AR enhanced, then that's great. Like slightly later into the game, if we can score one off of king making, we've just fast advanced out 3 points, which is pretty thick. And like a lot of our game plan here is going to be fast advance, because it's one of the better things that Prav does best. And the tricky thing with fast advance decks is like only being able to fast advance out 2 pointers, and then ending up in this like slightly sticky situation where you are stuck having to score to 8, whereas we want to score to 7. So we're going to do 3 AR enhanced, 3 king making. If the king making misses, it's going to suck a little bit, but equally, we have still managed to draw 3 cards of it, so we're still getting tempo. Then we're going to play Beal, because we can do some kind of nutty things scoring out Beal. We're at a weird number of agenda points, so we have to play like 1 copy of a 5/3, which is just going to be a degree mill, and then we have like 1 spicy 2-pointer, which is either just a tomorrow's headline, which is probably fine. We are doing stuff with tags, and it's the easiest thing for us to fast advance, or we play like something like a crypto crash or something like that. But I think for now, we can go like tomorrow's headline. Bosh. Agenda suite. Done. The other thing would be to put like 2 1-pointers here, but like I really don't want to be playing at 12 agendas. And alternatively, we can play like 2 degree mills and play only 2 AR enhanced security, but scoring an early AR enhanced is like really quite a big change in how the deck is going to feel like. Only 3 1-pointers with king making it's a little bit of a non-bo, but if we score a king making, so you've got to think of it like this, like if we score a king making and it pulls an AR enhanced security, like then that's a big bonus. If it doesn't, then we've scored a 4-2. We've scored 2 points. That's still okay. It's like just as good as scoring a Beal, although it cost us an extra advancement. But we've drawn 3 cards off it, so we are still getting tempo. We're trying to go like it's going to move us forward, even if it doesn't get the AR enhanced security on the board, which I think is fun. My collection is a bit wonky here. Standard. Do we really want a 5/3? We kind of have to, otherwise we've got to play 12 agendas. I really don't want to play 12 agendas. It's just slightly too many. Like we'd be on another 2-pointer and another 1-pointer, which yeah, is slightly better for king making, but we're going to be drawing a lot of agendas as it is. And also we are going to have ways of scoring out this 5/3, so we'll be okay. because we're gonna play, like, we're gonna have to have tag punishment, and our tag punishment is gonna be a copy of Shipment from Vladislavsk. So we're okay. Like, if they go two tag me, or they take too many tags, or they take exactly 2 tags more specifically, then we can always shipment out this degree mill if it's in hand. We can also do some pretty cool plays shipmenting out king makings, and we can potentially get a 3-point bill, maybe even more, depending on what's going on. Okay. So now we need to decide, like, the big thing here is going to be, what are we putting on the board? And one of the most powerful cards, in my opinion, and it's one that Gaston's been playing, like, I think it's where it really made his lists stand out, is we're going to play copies of Hearts and Minds. 2 copies of Hearts and Minds. This card will allow us to, like, never advance 5 frees from the board, or just get an absolute ton of value if people don't start running these and checking them and getting rid of them, because this is like a nutty card. Got a feeling MCA is going to end up in this. It's not, but it could do. Like, essentially MCA would probably be in this slot, I think. It's like a pretty cool option, but it's a bit weird because it probably does need to be protected, and our remote is going to have something else in it which we're going to want to protect, because one of our main ways of generating value from Prav and just doing, like, being really rude is 3 copies of Vladislavsk City Grid. This is insanely good if you're getting free advancements. Like, if you're getting advancements either through the Prav ability, or you res a Hearts and Minds, and suddenly your Vlad City Grid has got 2 counters on it, and you can fast advance a 4-2, and that 4-2 could be king making. You only need 1 counter on here if you just want to fast advance a Beal, or we can fast advance a Beal and put something on the board. Charlotte we'll talk about in a second, because there's 2 options for the, like, Charlotte influence slot in my mind. But Vlad City Grid is just 100% like going in. Meanwhile, while we're at it, we can put in other things which I think definitely just going in every Prav list, which is, like, 3 copies of Mester Chesto, because this is an advanceable ice which is in yellow and we don't have to pay influence for, and is really good ice. This is great. You also always want to make sure that there's something on board which is going to trigger Prav, and for that reason we're going to play 3 copies of Ubiquitous Dig. Now, some people don't like this card, because unless it's got an advanced one on it, it doesn't do anything, which is a problem. Like, sometimes we have to actually advance this manually, which isn't great, but I think it doesn't happen that often, and it always, like, we always want to have stuff on the board which can generate counters, which the runner has to go and check and trash in case it's a Vladislavsk City Grid. Tree line. We are probably going to play tree line, so we'll talk about ice in a second. That's a lot of Vigs. It's the correct number of Vigs in my opinion. If we could play Drago, we'd play Drago. Like, just anything you want to have stuff on the board from turn 1, which is gaining counters. If you don't have enough stuff in your Prav deck which gets counters on successful runs, you are playing a blank ability. If a runner ever makes a successful run and you don't have something to charge, then you should be playing any other, like, you should be playing any other NBN. Just play as Murray or something, you know, because it's free money. So we're going to play 3 copies of Vig. We'll put 3 copies of Spin Doctor in while we're at it. Then someone mentioned Charlotte, which is like a lot of value, but weirdly doesn't force runs. Because the thing with Charlotte is that if they're not running, this isn't charging. And then we're charging it manually, which actually makes it a little bit awkward. So I'm like unsure about Charlotte. Like, can be really, really good. But I don't think Charlotte is correct. Reverse accounts is correct. Like, I like playing, I think we're probably only going to play one because it's like really spicy. But you can have some like really disgusting turns where at the start of your turn you reset hearts and minds, you put 2 counters on a reverse accounts, then you advance it again, you like trash it, run loses 12 credits, and you still have a click to play like an Oppo or something like that. Holtz, yeah, I played Prav Hearts and Minds for a while. Don't leave home without Powers at B. Yeah, Powers at B is definitely going in here. Busted ass card. I want to get 2 in here, but I think we might end up having to cut 1 for influence, but we'll find out. So I said that there'd be something else that we should maybe do with that Charlotte influence, and I think the correct answer is to play Cohort. This is like mini Rashida, which is going to be really, really good in terms of just getting us value. If the runner just lets these like tick away, suddenly they can become fast advance or never advance threats. Never advance just if we slip something on the board. Fast advance alongside like an uncountered Vladisper City Grid. So they have to run somewhere to turn this cohort off, right? They either have to run and trash the cohort, they have to run the bin to flip the cards. There's a few options, but all of them involve running somewhere, and that's what we want to do. Plus, this is like money, this is draw, they're all things that we kind of need. So I really like cohort as another option. Then like we need a bit more money. We'll play 3 copies of Rashida. We're trying to go nice and fast. We can sometimes just slip these out on the board. We're going to be playing a bit of ice, so that's okay. NGO and Scion. I'd love to find space for an NGO. We will see if we do. I would like to play a single copy of Czechist Scion. We're going to have tag punishment. We've got at least some tag punishment at the moment. I think there's another card which I quite like, which we're going to put in the tag punishment slot as well. Putting in like at least just one of these means that like runners who just run and check every single thing, which some will eventually just, whoops, I have just hit a Czechist Scion and I have like 3 tags. Or at least 2. This is feeling like probably enough assets. We don't have like a ton of money here, but we'll hopefully be okay. We need to look at ice before we like run out of slots. We don't have the influence for Logjam anymore, so we are going to play Tree Lines. We'll play at least 2 of them. And then I mentioned another bit of tag punishment, and it's going to be at least 1, maybe 2 copies of Starlit Night. We'll see if we might have to like cut these down. This is actually pretty good, like tag punishment. It's obviously like it can be bad against the like crew decks, but almost anyone else, if they start to take a few too many tags, and especially if we've like decided to sneak out an AR enhanced early and they just start taking tags left, right, and center. Starlit Night is a lot of subs. It can be very, very good. We're definitely playing at least some Oppos, but I don't think we're playing a ton of them. It might even be like 1 is correct. We're going to play it. We're going to put 2 in for now. We're going to need more money, and that's either going to come... Well, that can come in a variety of ways, but there's a couple of other cards which I really like here. I need like 1 more cheap end run at least, which I think is going to be a wraparound. As much as ping is good, like our tag punishment is like 2 tags, so I think I prefer like to play a wraparound and have a bit of this just helps us against things like turtle decks and Audrey decks and stuff like that. And then, like I said, we're a little bit poor, so a card which I really like, pop-up window. This is like kind of fine right now. Ice is somewhat meaningless some of the time. Pop-up window is meaningful. Like if we put this outside like one of our other pieces of ice, it stops bank art, it gets us money. We can definitely play hedge funds, but we're running out of slots now. One card which I really like in Prav, again, we want to like force interaction, we want to force them to run, we want to force them to give us money. Our Prav triggers is subliminal messaging. So we can play 2 of these, and then something that's really nice about subliminal messaging is that at the beginning of a turn, if they haven't run back, then we get to bring them back to hand. And so they actually work really, really well with your digital life. Which takes us here quite nicely. We still have a single influence, which I'm open to that, but it would need to be a swap or something. Regolith is the other like really good option, and is a very good thing to sort of stick down. And just click for money, but I also want to go a little bit faster than Regolith. Like, I think we'd play hedge funds before we played Regolith, because we do have enough stuff, I think, to run. But we'll find out. Janinia and Troll. Yeah, I mean, at some point, Janinia is going to see some play, right? At some point. I don't know if it's quite yet. But something like this, like technically we should probably play a single, like something to help with deep dive, which would probably be a Chrysium grid, which we do have the influence for, or we play a Mavirus just in case people happen to be on clock, and we get really sad about that. But we then have to take a card out, so we can kind of decide on what we're going to do about that. But I like all these cards. The other option is we go to like free cohort and we drop a powers that be. Still not convinced by Vig. NGO, I would like if I was going to play out of NGO or Rego in this particular deck, I would play NGO. The one big problem with NGO is that it doesn't quite work with Prav as good as you want it to work. Because if they run the NGO, you can't pop it before you put the advancement on. If you could, this would be the sickest econ card in Prav. It would be like very, very worth running. Can you imagine even like if you needed the money, just having a like unresed NGO and Hearts and Mindsing 2 counters onto it at the start of a turn? Like, sick. I think Vig is okay. I think it's all right. Critium does indeed counter the Prav counter, which is like a bit of a problem because I'm like really big on Critium at the moment, but I like hilariously this says that it's not a successful run. So if they run the server with the Critium on it, like it's probably not good for them because they need to like they don't get a successful run of it, but it also doesn't trigger Prav. So there's like a weird like you have to like res your Critiums at exactly the right time if you're gonna be doing that. But we don't have the card slots for this at the moment, so we might just leave it out. I guess we could play a third tree line, maybe instead of a wraparound. But I'm a big believer, and I want there to always be stuff on board that the runner has to consider checking, running, that is gaining counters. That's a really important part of a Prav game plan, in my opinion. We'll leave it. We'll play a game like this, and we'll see what we change. This is like H&M Prav. Like, we're not going to have the most money, but we also kind of don't need the most money, which is the biggest thing. We can fast advance out reasonably cheaply as long as we can res our... we just need to be able to res our Vlad City grids. Like grid and pulse. Yeah, I wish. Oh, if only. Play that in standard. Could just be an ice wall. Yeah, I wouldn't hate just an ice wall, to be quite honest. That is perfectly cromulent. So this is H&M Prav. Yeah, I think that Mavirus is probably the correct option, as much as we're just going to hope we don't play into any clock to start off with and see what happens. And yeah, it's also just good against virus decks in general. The other thing we can play like as a cool one influence slot is a single copy of Business as Usual, which is actually really good in like decks which are running Vladis Burst City Grid. And that also somewhat deals with the virus decks, and I'd be very tempted. I'd almost be tempted to play that over Mavirus, sorry, with this one here. Oh, Radish jumping in. Hopefully not teching into us with... Okay, Hashiga Shiro, we're not necessarily expecting Clot. Do we keep this hand? Almost tempting. Like, having a tree line, having 2 pieces of ice in our opening is like kind of sick. We potentially should have kept it. This is understandably worse. Oh, it's got much worse. So I think we can draw once. We'll play Your Digital Life and we'll install a card. Oh, it's got much worse. So here we probably just play... we might just draw again, and we play... Oh, it's got way worse. Okay, well, this is fun. So we'll ditch... We want to hold on to, like, these two, because this is, like, what we're going to try and score out. Maybe we keep the Tomorrow's Headline in hand. I think these two have to go in the bin, and we just have to hope that we draw a Spin Doctor next turn. Which we will, right? Like, we'll just... definitely draw a Spin Doctor. Don't hit... Well, okay. We lost a Kingmaking. We also have given them a run. Okay, we might get... Okay, well, the Oppo research isn't going to do too much. This might have to go on HQ, or we try and jam out this AR enhanced security behind it. Let's draw once and find out. Oh, it's got pretty bad. It's definitely got pretty bad. Yeah. We've got all the genders we need to win the game. If we actually had a Vlad City Grid on board, I'd feel actually quite comfortable about where we were right now. Because, right, please hit the Tomorrow's Headline. Hopefully they don't just botulus this and run. Because that'll hurt. Okay, well, at least we get to score this out. Oh, and we can... That's so hilarious. We don't have a singular good target for powers that be. So we're just going to score. Yeah, this is extremely fine. And then I guess we like take a credit. Or we put the powers on the board. I probably want to keep this in hand. Yeah, I'm not worried yet. This is absolutely fine. We just need to like find ourselves a Vlad City Grid and we'll be all right. Okay, winning could be an issue. They're on Simulship, which means that there is a chance they're on clock. Incredibly rude if that is the case. We can't advance this, unfortunately. Fermenter, gonna wish we had that business as usual. This is not the best card right now. We'll draw one because then we'll draw into a Spin Doctor. Oh! Yes! We'll put Spinny D on the board, and we'll put the Powers That Be on the board. I could have installed an agenda with the Powers That Be. If they didn't have a ban card down, I would have installed an agenda with the Powers That Be. But they 100% ban card this ice and run through it. Unfortunately, we want this wraparound on the outside of wherever it is. But if we can draw into exactly like a just a little fella, you know, pop-up window. Gachapon's an issue. So here we'll res... well, we've got something to jam next turn, so that's something. We didn't lose yet. So that's got to feel good. Paladin. They've got Paladin and Twinning, which is kind of scary. We've drawn more agendas here. I think we have to put one of the agendas on the board. And I think we're going to. So we're going to go this one in server 1. This one in a new remote. This in a new remote. And then we'll kind of see what happens. I think, disappointingly, if they run, I don't think we're advancing the tomorrow's headline. I think we want it to be very much hidden. I would recommend you stop drawing agendas. Oh, Kysra, you're a genius. I'll tell you what, I should be playing that game. Really. It would be quite good to stop drawing agendas. Like, you are correct. We're not going to advance anything, which is really disappointing. But I don't want to. Like, it really signals exactly what this is. I'd like to keep this Powers That Be, but I'm not gonna. No Cyber Feeder. Yeah, I don't need Cyber Feeder. Okay, this is. No, they've got Hannah. I was gonna say like they could end up like double tagged here, but I don't think they will because they have a Hannah. Clearing the whole board and then clearing both tags. We get to oppo them here, right? Oh, they can pop the fermenter though, and they probably should and probably have to. They know we've got an oppo in hand. Wow, they didn't. There's no cyber feeder because Firefox doesn't like my machine. Wait, what did they do? Oh, they played a labor rights. How does spin timing with Hannah work? Is there a way you get them tagged? No, there's not, because it doesn't become an unsuccessful run. Okay, so we can go like subliminal, install the Beal, put the Metal Chest Spell on the outside, and then oppo them and see what happens. Are we oppo wing? Are we oppo wing for all the credits? I think probably not, unfortunately. Hello, how are you doing today, Mr. Not Yeti? Okay, they have a cleaver, so our server is not looking great. They haven't chosen where to bank our yet. We'd love these to be the other way around. They're on a Hermes. It's very rude. Okay, they probably need to consider removing these tags. They might just go ham here. Unfortunately, if they run, we probably are not rezzing, but maybe we op over them again next turn, but I feel like this Fermentor's probably going to get them places. Unfortunately, we might just have to score out this deal, which is going to feel awful. Oh, Hermes. Okay, this could actually be beneficial for us. Firstly, we've finally drawn something that we can boost. That's good. HQ is going to get like murdered next turn, but if they bounce these back the other way, if they bounce the inner ice, then it's really good for us. So we're just going to hope that they do that, and go from there. I'm not hitting this subliminal messaging because there's a minor chance. Okay, no, they didn't. At least if this turn, if they steal an agenda here, then we can reposition our ice the correct way round. But yeah. Oh, they're on imp. Yeah, okay. Okay. Could be in trouble here. I mean, by trouble, I mean, we've, like, not lost yet. I don't know how we haven't lost yet. They might take a tag here. There's a chance that they have... We can't put an advancement on that. A slight chance that they forget that that we've scored out an AR enhanced. Yeah. They are tagged. I think we're trashing this twinning. But highly likely that they just have another one, right? The other thing would be to trash their banker. I think now we do need to play the subliminal. We're going to put this in the server. I think we are going to trash the banker. I think this twinning is going to lose us the game. And I kind of want to hit this oppo. Bankar's doing nothing right now. Maybe it's just take a credit and oppo. We can't, so we won't. Like, they've got four credits. They can't clear all the tags. Which potentially gives us a turn to, like... I don't know exactly what econ we're drawing into. It was a, like, the roughest start I've seen for a little while, so, you know, that does happen. Okay. Just digging more kind of makes sense. I mean, they'll bounce this if they steal something, which is a shame. But they're also committing to being pretty tagged here. Hopefully they don't find our, like, one shipment from the Disperse. Trash the YDL. Kind of makes sense. So they're now at 4 tags. Which means that they might just accidentally die to a Starlit Knight, which is very funny. I guess they've got an echelon down, so that's not going to happen. Wild. Okay. Now, we can trash stuff. We can go trash, and then take 2 credits. And take a credit, apologies. If they run, then we get a Vlad City Grid. If they don't run, then we get our subliminal messaging back. Like Trash and Bankar is okay, but it's only okay if we actually have ice to stop them, which at the moment we don't. So I think I'm more interested in trashing the twinning. I think I'm going to draw gain a credit trash twinning. That's potentially strong, but not yet. Twinning's how we lose, so let's try and not lose to that. If we draw the shipment from Vladisburst, we might be able to win. This is okay. So they've bankcard the server, which is fine. If they go in here and trash it, it costs them 4, so that's absolutely fine. Like they just need to not hit the deal here, which they don't, so that's good. Putting down a Mystic. Okay, we can technically score out this Beal if we want to. We can't quite score out the Kingmaking. But we could next turn. If we trash Bankar, we can't install the Mess in the Chest foes, so I don't like we can't res the Mess in the Chest foes, so I don't think it's worth doing. I'm tempted to just put the BL out in the open. They'll assume it's a Hearts and Minds. We're gonna lose off HQ. Or we just take 3 credits and next turn we try and fast advance out this Kingmaking. Definitely possible. We will have enough money to do so. I'm going to put this in a new remote and take 2 credits. This is all the money we need to score this Kingmaker. That will take us to 6 points. We can then win off... I mean, it will take us to 6 points if we draw into one of our AR enhanced securities. God, that's a mouthful. I also think that if we draw the shipment from Vladisburst, we might have enough credits and clicks and everything to get a very big deal, as in one that's worth 5 points and just wins us the game. Oh shit. Do we res the Vlad City Grid here? I think we kind of have to. So I think we res. We'll put a counter on this other Vlad City Grid. Okay. They whiffed. That means that we shouldn't try and score this Kingmaking, really importantly. Because we're not going to draw into a 3-1 agenda. So, Starlit Night is great if we had a bit more money. So we might just score this Beal and then take credit. It might be Scorpio install Hearts and Minds, actually. They might think it's a checkers, but I think they saw a Vlad Grid, so I think they will assume that this is a Vlad Grid. If we do Scorpio... If we do Scorpio install Hearts and Minds... We'll be short of credits next turn. But I think it's correct. The other thing would be to draw with the Kingmaking, like score the Kingmaking just so that we can draw. but I think that's probably worse. So let's score this. The other Valkyries, there's one face up in archive, but I think they saw this one on R&D. I'm pretty sure they saw this one on R&D. What are they going to bounce with Hurley? Well, let's score this and then find out what they bounce, and then we can react. Yeah, that's unsurprising. Now, I think we install the Hearts and Minds. And then next turn we click for some credits. And then we can technically win. We can somehow, possibly, pull this game back. And if so, holy hell. Econ is feeling horrible. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's what happens when you draw 8 agendas early days, right? Just don't steal this king making, please. Okay, we've seen the other Vlad grid. So now we know where all 3 Vlad grids are. Playing an Ashen. They have no money. We're going to click for 3 credits. Okay, they have 5 credits. They'll have more next turn. They might think that they're safe. And they're not. Okay, we're going to put the Vig out. We need exactly 3 credits to win next turn, assuming that they don't go anywhere. But we can win this next turn. If they finality us here, then it's like pretty bad. They kind of have to go and trash this Vlad grid. And if they do, then we're putting a counter on this Vig. We've not trashed this Bankar, but it's not been necessary to as of yet. I am slightly hopeful for one of the best comebacks that has ever been shown on this stream. From a game that was like very potentially cursed. Also, question to the stream. How is the background music? Is it, A, can you hear it? Is it the right sort of volume? And do people think I should continue with background music? Okay, they have a symbol chip. They are trashing this, so this is correct. They know they need to get rid of this. They don't have access to clock, which is important. We're not going to res, kind of obviously. Oh, they don't have a leech counter, so they do have to pay money for this, so that's good. We're going to put a counter here. I think we have a chance of clawing out of this one. And if we happen to draw into like the shipment from Vladisbursk, we just win. Forgot about chip restriction. Ooh, rude. Okay, they're gonna run this Vig. Are they gonna trash the Vig? They leave the Vig. Now, the question is here, do we need additional money? So we can res the Hearts and Minds to gain an extra credit. It costs us a credit, it gains us a credit. It's like neutral. We could trash their casts if we do that. I think we might do it. So we're going to res this because it's credit neutral to do so. We can only use the second option, but we can do this first, and then we gain 2 from there. Okay, reversed accounts could actually be quite sick here. So we're going to put the Vlad grid in a new remote. We're going to put this in server 1, and we're going to trash this cast. Okay, that is generally good. Cool. I'm going to listen back to this stream afterwards, but seems like the music is like okay, essentially. Now, they have a fermenter, so that means that they can pop. Oh, they needed. So I think their issue is that they needed something in the bin so they could reset this imp. Which means that maybe they should have over-installed here. I feel like they should have trashed the imp to the fermenter install. But maybe they're going to get something in the bin here. They do. They get a buzzsaw in the bin. They have money. They have a twinning. Scary. Terrifying. Okay, let's see if we res any of this. I think we res the reversed account. And then the question is, where do we put the counter? The question is, where do we put the counter? Do we need money more, or do we want to cost them money more? I think we need the money more. So we're going to put it here as much as they can and probably should and probably will go and trash it. Okay, they found one. Understandably, the lag grid comes back. But what do they do now? They're going to lose all their money next turn if they're not careful. I guess they do have this fermenter going. Which will give them 6. Hey, how you doing? They're going to get rid of this. So we're going to drip for 4 next turn. That's pretty good. Good to see you, King Solomon. So we're going to do the... We're not going to move any. We're going to put one here. It's a big old drip. Okay. They saw this. They still have Bankar, so ice doesn't really help us at all. Purging here is like not the worst. But it's also not the best. I think we need to trash for twinning. It's like really, really quite important. So we can trash for twinning. They can reset the imp, which is like big. That means they can potentially trash 2 things next turn. So I think we trash this. We install this. And then we take a credit. He has no decoder. He has a buzzsaw in the bin. But also has Bankar. So, like, we can't really use the ice. I don't want to lock up R&D because we know that the next 3 cards are safe. The other thing would be to push the lag grid. I think we have to... I want to push the lag grid next turn. Because I want him to potentially reset the imp. This looks like the lag grid, which I think he knows is here. If we drip for like a large amount of money next turn, which we very well could. Bankar is limited. Bankar works right now, and that's all I care about, is whether he can get in right now. He is resetting the imp. So this is why I didn't install the Vlad Grid this turn, because I think going and trashing stuff is probably the correct thing to do. So we're going to put a counter here instead. We have another tag. We're definitely not clearing these. We can potentially score out behind a Starlit Knight. We haven't seen any way of dealing with the Starlit Knight. Okay, we pop the Fermenter. We're going in because This looks like the flag grid, and it is not. He probably should go and trash the Hearts and Minds if he doesn't trash it. Does trash it. Correct. Correct. We might have to just purge. We need to get rid of this imp. It's an issue. I mean, Starlit Knight. I would rather do Starlit Knight and the Kingmaking behind it if we have the money to res it. We can't do anything, unfortunately, with his Hearts and Minds this turn. Okay. So we can either purge. Purging feels quite good. I have to deal with this imp, really. We're assuming thinking. So we could score behind a Starlit Knight, we think, pretty successfully. I mean, well, they can still technically pay to get through. It will cost them seven credits, which is like most of their credits. They'd have to click for a credit first. So maybe we just protect the Kingmaking behind a Starlit Knight. They're going to be on 6 credits at the start of their turn. They possibly have a gamble in hand. So if they play the gamble, they can get in. If they play the gamble, they can get in. They can also take like 3 damage. This is hard. I really want to trash the Bankar. I really want to get a card on the table that can be advanced. But the imp is very scary. We could put Vladisburg behind the Starlit Knight and take a credit. I kind of don't want to use the Subliminal because I don't want HQ to be too soft. But I'd somewhat rather just try and push the agenda. I think it might be like... I think it might be Vlad Grid behind the Starlit Knight. How many shipments? 1 shipment. So we can draw the shipment and we win, as long as we draw it before they imp. So the other option there would have been to draw first click. Obviously 1 shipment, we'd love to play more than 1 shipment, especially like right now. The agenda behind the Knight seems good. Yeah, nearly. But the only problem is because they've got Bankar, they only have to pay, like, they've got 4, like, they can, I think they can get through. This would need to have, like, more than about 10 or 11 subs for it to be really good. And this was what I was worried about. If they have a gamble in hand, they play gamble, they run. Now, unfortunately, they've got an imp. So they run and they are going to trash this Black Grid for free. Or they're going to overinstall this with something else. Oh, this is interesting. Please don't be a hush. No, okay, we're undoing that. That makes sense. Oh, they trashed the Hermes. Probably to the Paladin. So this is scary because we could just lose here. We're obviously going to put a counter here. They see a message yesterday. That's okay. If they imp that, that's quite good for us. This now has another counter. Now they put down the... So now we've got to work out whether they can actually break this. They've got 8 tags. This could kill them. I don't think it does, but we're going to res it and cost them a lot of money. Because they have to pay now, or they just die. So they have to pay through all but 2, which will leave them with exactly 4 credits, which is enough to like technically trash this Vlad grid perfectly. But we might be able to just put the kingmaking in there next turn, and it will be safe. A narco mushroom. Hello, hello. Yeah, and I don't think they can get through here twice. Which is like really, really important. Now they have to pay 10, and they don't take any damage, so they want these cards in hand. That means they can't trash this. Now, importantly, we don't have the money to res and score this next turn, but we do get to charge it up. We can play the subliminal, and then I think we just go install this, and like we lose to Hush, but that's fine. Do we lose to anything else is the really big question. If they have... This is 8 end runs, so they need at least 8 credits. So could they go... I feel like if they had strike funds in hand... Thinking. We need to see what quick money they could play. I don't think they can play a gamble next turn. If they had strike funds in hand, I think they would have let some of these subs fire. But they probably do have 1 strike fund left in deck. I don't actually... Have they just removed it from the game somewhere? So technically probably 1 strike fund left. Moshing is the other one, which is like... No, there's no moshings left. There's 1 gamble. How do they play gamble? Maybe if their hand is exactly strike fund into gamble, right? So the upsetting thing is if we play subliminal and take 3 credits, we are still a credit short. So I think we have to jam the kingmaking in there this turn. We're going to draw once in case of shipment. They don't have enough cards for moshing, but they will have when... No, they won't have, actually. We're going to draw once for shipment, because if we draw into the shipment exactly, then we win. It's not shipment. Does this enable us to win next turn? If they don't run and we get back subliminal messagings. I want to force them to run though. 1 to 2 crew. So a single crew. So the big question is, why didn't they take the 2 damage? And one reason for that is that what they have left in hand is a labor rights, and the other is that they have a single crew in hand, which would like be super, super rude. I think we draw again. We can't win off shipment if we draw it this turn. Oh, that's actually really bad. Okay, I screwed up. So now I think we have to jam the kingmaking and we play the subliminal messaging, because maybe playing the subliminal is wrong there, because we don't actually need the money, right? We can move. No, we need at least 1 credit. Because next turn we can take a credit and put 2 counters on here and win. And if we win, it's one hell of a win. To be fair, they can't play a crew. They don't have the money for a crew. They need to install it, and they need to pay 2. They need to get 4 credits from somewhere. They can't install it using a paladin. So if they had like exactly Strike Fund crew, we lose to that. Oh shit! Is it? Oh no! It was Strike Fund Gamble. It was Strike Fund Gamble. Oh, we got savagely outplayed by exactly what I was expecting. Absolutely savagely outplayed. Oh, so so what I should have done is I should have just jammed something else in there. I should have jammed the powers that be in there, forced them to run through it. Jump back in, yeah. Okay, Radish, when you're back, throw something up in chat because we need to bring up the replay of this game to show you what we nearly got away with. Yeah, the tech was playing 2 money cards, eh? I'm disappointed in myself because I did call that out as being one potential exact hand combination which would get them in. If we had just put the powers that be in here, it probably looks enough like the agenda that we have to run it. And then next turn, do we have enough money to win? I don't think we do. I don't think we do. Oh, well, we were never drawing the shipment, so at least that's something. Yeah, I mean, like Odd Radish got him like nearly credit perfect as well, right? Like this was one. Radish, are you back? Okay, you're back. Right. Let me talk about this game because we nearly won that. We came very close to winning that. Like really worryingly close. And if I'd have made a slightly different play on the last turn, and I was considering a slightly different play, I was considering all the things which would allow you to get in, and I called out one of them being, oh no, I didn't save a replay. Oh, tragedy. Shit. Okay, I didn't save a replay. Right. So, yeah, so I thought of all the things which you might have in hand which you wouldn't want to lose to the damage. One of which was being exactly Strike Fund into Sugar, which would give you enough money to run in, right? Now, the funny thing is that game we drew either 7 or 8 agendas in the first like 2 to 3 turns. Opening hand was, by the time I'd drawn twice, was 5 agendas. We drew a spin because we're that good. Managed to like we just ditched 2 at the start. They were just in the bin for a long time. There were just 2 agendas in the bin. You were busy running HQ, seeing Oppo researchers, and occasionally sniping one of the 3 agendas, which was always in there. Yeah, you need to go and look back. It's dire. We managed to draw a spin doctor, recover like 2 of the agendas, and immediately draw back into one of the Beals. We didn't have a single thing that we could have put on board that we could advance forever. Which, considering how I built this deck to make sure there's always something like advanceable on board, is kind of insane. And we managed to nearly pull that back from the absolute depths of defeat. And if I'd have played, I should have just tried to bait you into the server the last turn. I had a powers that be in hand, which I could have installed, which I think you would have still had to run. If you had a way of getting in there. The only problem was that if you didn't have a way of getting in there, then your best bet is to hammer HQ, hammer R&D, and then you probably would have found one of the 2 agendas, which there were 2 agendas in hand by the end. But that was like kind of wild how we actually nearly managed to get that one back. It was a great game. like considering how dire it appeared at the start, it turned into actually a really, really tight-knit game. But very well played. Galar is interested in the fact that you ran R&D instead of HQ after installing IMP. I wonder if that's because you assumed that you'd seen most of HQ because you'd run HQ a ton. Yeah, it probably felt like you had. You had seen like the same Oppo research about 3 times, and then yeah, I don't know. There was also what? Easy night for me, eh? Okay, so if you don't know who Theo is, they are the UK national champion. Coming in here, coming in hot, playing lap. The like, it's gonna be good stuff. They're gonna be a compilation. We do have the shipment like in hand turn 1. We also have a Vig and a Vlad grid, so I quite like this. I'm actually gonna keep this opening. Theo, really, really lovely person. Got to interview them as soon as they finished winning UK Nats, and yeah, like essentially they went nearly undefeated at UK Nats, only losing to Chris Dyer, I think, who like went. Oh no, sorry, Chris Dyer went undefeated apart from losing like 2 games or 3 games to Theo, and Theo went like almost undefeated, losing like 2 games or something. I don't think I've played on JNet Stream before. Ah, wow. There we go. Okay, well, we got another Spin Doctor, so I think we're gonna. I'm wondering how we best get YDL value here, and I think it's probably going to be to like draw 1. Oh, that's good. I think we're gonna get like kind of econ engine rolling a little bit. We don't need to worry about fast advancing yet. We don't have any agendas to fast advance. I really like Techie Hermes host generally. Felt decent in the matchup. Yeah, totally. Like Hermes is pretty good into this matchup because we are fast advancing. But the nice thing about fast advancing off of Vlad grid is that sometimes we get a turn to sort stuff out. They're going to run this Vig. We're going to advance this Vig. They're probably now going to have to run back and thrash this Vig, which feels quite good. Like, they have the money to do it, but we can sap that. Unfortunately, they might do it off a trick shot, especially if they have a SMC. So here they're probably going to get a Aparicio, which is a bit of a problem for us. They're definitely going to trash for Hearts and Minds with Aparicio. Ooh! I have a chance. Although Fermenter will be like also pretty good for them. They have to trash for Hearts and Minds anyway. We're gonna regret not being on them a virus. Second Vig, actually pretty hype. We might go like Spin Doctor, YDL, install another Vig. Oh, I forgot to res Vig. Sorry. The other thing is that we do like Vig advance, which feels pretty bad, and then we put a Spin Doctor on the board. I kind of want to overdraw with the Spin Doctor as a thing, so maybe we just go Spin Doctor res. we could always throw this out, but I think we hold on to it. We're going to play the YDL, and then we will... Do we start getting this Vlad grid going is the question, or do we want the other Vig? I think we start getting the Vlad grid going. In my real life version of the deck, I have Fueno over Taka, and I forgot to put it in the JNet version. Yeah, I think Fueno is fun and does have the least, like, is the easiest to keep around if you accidentally like go over on credits on it occasionally, and sometimes you just get these like pretty disgusting turns. Here I'm not against purging, but maybe we do that next turn. We're on a build script which I think suggests an Anikan build. Right, we can spam a few things here. If we still had a Hearts and Minds, we'd be in a really good place because we could fast advance out with king making next turn. So let's draw one. We'll put down our powers at B. And I think we're gonna... I wonder if we like deny the lat draw. No, we kind of can't because they've got stone chips. So we might just advance Vlad grid by one, or we put out the other Vig as well. Let's put out the other Vlad grid as well. This kind of feels alright. Isn't it better to res spin during the runner's turn? Yes. But it was kind of awkward board state to do so. But yes, I would quite like to do that if possible. Okay, they're probably going to steal an agenda here. The big question is, where are we putting the Prav counter? We're going to put it on the outermost Vlad grid. Damn! That's the one I wanted. So now they have to go and probably deal with this. I mean, they definitely have to deal with that. But that's good. We've got a Spin Doctor on board. We're going to, like, pull it straight back if they do. We could choose to purge next turn. Here, powers at B. They also have to consider trashing that. We might not do so this turn. We're possibly purging next turn. Third stone chip. I think here we go. Next turn we put like the tree line in front of the Vlad grid. We potentially advance the Vlad grid at least once. If they run this turn, we're gonna advance this dig. This is a good run. This is like forcing us to do something. Nice. The reason that we don't advance the Vlad grid here is that the Vlad grid is more important to us right now. That's really good. Because here we can go this on server 4, this in server 4, this outside server 4. The other option would actually be to just push a Beal on the table here. Possibly correct. We'd love to still have that Hearts and Minds. We might shuffle the Hearts and... Oh, we don't have a spin on board. Oh, that's... Oh, no, we do have a spin on board. We might well shuffle the Hearts and Minds back in here. The other thing is that we can use the powers that need to potentially get the Hearts and Minds. But I think we probably want to try and get it. We want it back sooner rather than later. Theo's a little cash poor here. Like, obviously, this Fermenter is going to do stuff. Like, we can possibly get like a decent slowdown off an Oppo. Probably looking for like SMC into trick shot kind of material here. Trick shot. Ooh, I wonder if we... No, we can't purge again yet. Doesn't feel correct. Okay, let's find ourselves either a Hearts and Minds or a cohort. Both of those would be really quite nice. Symbol chip. Hopefully the process has still decided not to slot the plot. Dropping a revolver. We'll res here. Okay, well, we've drawn a lot of those, so that's good. This pop-up window is probably just going to go on R&D. Now, next turn, obviously, Theo can pop the Fermenter, get back the SMC, and that's kind of what I'm expecting them to do. I then expect them to trick shot after they do that. So we're going to put this on R&D. We're going to put this in a new remote. And we're going to advance this Vig, or we put the Spin Doctor out as well. I think we actually advance this Lattice Burst. They have 6 credits from here, trick shot money. They can actually afford to trash both of them. It's a problem. We do have a second one here, or a third one here. We can shuffle them straight back in. I'm gonna try and force a run here, which I don't think he will run. I think he probably won't. Wage Workers would be good in this deck. Actually, Wage Workers is a pretty sick option as a, like, if you don't run Advance. The problem is we're not like other versions which I've played of Prav, which are on log jams, are much better at potentially like never advancing, and you kind of put a card in the server and you put a Hearts and Minds outside the server or a cohort outside the server, and no matter what the runner does, you're getting advancements. Whereas this one, we don't really have great ice to go behind. So apart from like just doing the, like, I'm going to Wage Workers out like 4 cards and you're going to have to check them all, which is probably like good enough. We should have advanced the Black Grid. Gutted. So here we're probably going to advance both of these cards like manually. Or we just purge. But that feels really bad. 8 credits. They will have unlimited SMCs. We'd love to be on the powers that be here. No, business as usual, because then we could not only fast advance out the Beal, getting a powers that be trigger, but we actually we couldn't actually purge this. So that'd be a shame. Second tree line. Now we can boost this tree line to 7 strength, which means that actually that's pretty good. It's going to be really tricky for Propeller to get through it. They might have to do some real nonsense to deal with that. So I think we're actually going to go ahead and do that. And then we're going to put a Beal out in the open. We're going to go expend this here. We're going to advance this once. And we're going to put this out in the open. I realised that I forgot to res my Ubiquitous Vig, but we're just going to say... we're just going to say that I'm doing it on purpose so that like it looks scary. During our game, I think you were supposed to install the powers for sure because I only had 2 cards left in stack. Yeah, I probably could have and should have worked that out. I think I did actually work that out, so I think 100%. I mean, unfortunately, this doesn't cost them any money, but at least now they're going to go get like a Propeller, and it's going to cost them a lot to... Wow, it's going to cost them a lot of counters to get through here, most important. So it also gains us a credit, which is pretty sick. Now, do we want to put another counter on here? Takes it to 8 strength. Means that Propeller can no longer get through it if we advance it one more time after that. Like, maybe. Yeah, we do. Okay, they see a checklist. That's actually quite good. That makes this Ubiquitous Vig look really like a checklist. I also hate that you can't purge Clock with business as usual. I hate how that card's been worded. Like, so much. They have to run this, right? Yeah. So we'll res the tree line. They get their Propeller. But it will use up, like, their whole Propeller. Or enough of it. And then, like, they might have to... Like, if they don't go and get the turbine, I wonder what will replace Clot in Dawn. Yeah, that's, like, really interesting. I feel like there should be something to, like, deal with Fast Advance. But there has been other options in the past. Things like the Source, for instance, have been around. They are checking the Vig. Hopefully they don't check this Beal. I don't care about the other stuff. Ooh, they trash it. Don't check the Beal. They can't afford to trash anything else, so I'm happy if they do anything else. They probably have to get Fermenter back here, or they, like, massively run out of money. Awesome. I like Beal on the table. Sick Beal on the table. The question is, are we getting back a Rashida with it, or are we getting back the Vlagrid? And I think we're getting back the Vlagrid, as much as we've got one in hand. Like, we might get back to Rashida, actually. We kind of want the money. And we do have a Vlagrid. So we'll res this and we'll go advance, score Beal, and I think we can afford to get the Rashida, right? We can advance this if we want to. Step 4. So they can go and get this if they want. They might have Pinhole, actually. I guess Pinhole is like a reason to get the Vlagrid, which is more expensive to crash, instead of Rashida. But like getting through this now, they have to either reset this Propeller, which is awkward. There's the Pinhole. Do we boost the tree line to make it impossible to get through with the Propeller? Or do we charge this Vlagrid? I think we probably charge the Vlagrid. No, I'm going to boost this once. I like having a unpassable tree line seems like pretty good in my book. Like, we might even just jam this Beal next turn. Put a pop-up window somewhere, probably on HQ. Probably on HQ. Okay, Hearts and Minds is cool. Really cool, actually. So we're going to put this in a new remote. We're going to put this in the server. And then... they probably compilation this powers that be, right? I guess. We'll put this on HQ. And Galar, the music is Always Be Running. It's the like one of the latest to Always Be Running by Trip Mirror. Okay. This is like going okay. We're doing okay. We're holding our own. We can technically score a big Beal next turn. Do we want to do that? It's really expensive. Or do we just want to get a cheap regular Beal? Cheap regular Beal probably feels correct. Bearing in mind that we can get Rashida back. Let's res this anyway. We're going to move this to here. and place one there. Okay, so we can never advance this out next turn. Yeah, advancing a tree line, I know, right? Who would consider such a thing? So we can just get back to Rashida. Like, maybe the better thing was just to advance this once and purge. Like, what does Theo do for money right now? I think, annoyingly, I probably want to put a counter back on this tree line. Yeah, I can't go to, like, no credits, can I? The other option is we install the degree mill and just try and win next turn. Is there a way which we just win next turn? We have to advance the tree line again once though. I think that feels a bit too risky, but if they like copulation us, then they're probably going to steal this anyway. So maybe we put the tree. Sorry, thinking. So maybe we put the degree mill out in the open. We might put the degree mill out in the open. What credits? We don't really need credits. Like, if they don't trash for hearts and minds, then this like does it. Nah. I wouldn't even have a good courtesy to ask. Gotta take those free wins where you can. Okay, so we score here, we get a Rashida. We can put another advancement on the tree line. And I'm just really worried about this copulation going HQ, which means that the degree mill is better off in the server, right? But if I don't put Rashida in the server, it's like a massive, like, it's just. Oh, maybe I can just overdraw and pitch for Rashida, pitch for degree mill. Yeah, that might be better actually. Let's put this in a new remote and draw. Okay. Does that change anything? No, I just draw once, and then I can pitch for degree mill, score, do powers at B, we'll get this into server 4, and we'll pitch the degree mill. Degree mill is smoking more weed than me on a Saturday night. Yeah, maybe. I think I should have put. I genuinely think I should have put the degree mill out in the open. I guess I would need one more credit to do anything with it next turn. But that was actually my potential win con here, which I've just somewhat thrown away. Which is a problem. If they don't pop the fermenter this turn, I'm just purging. Because at the moment Theo has like no money to speak of. We can add another advancement to the tree line with the Hearts and Minds, which feels good enough. Or we can start adding stuff to this Vladisper City, but I don't really want to do that yet because of the copulation. If we draw into a king making, we need 5 credits exactly to win. So that would be the other option. Is like, if we think this Rashida is going to draw a king making, 1 is out of the game, there's 2 in 25. Then we should just pop this Rashida and win next turn. We use the Hearts and Minds to move a counter, add a counter, and then we score king making plus AR enhanced and win. If we believe in ourselves, that is the correct line. Now, I've played games where like this where I'm like, that is way too thin a line. Oh, we get a credit. That's pretty hype. I think we're probably advancing this tree line. About fire. Because now, as far as I'm aware, they can't get through here. Okay, not coupulating anything. Let's see if they coupulate something else. Okay, they're probably going to copulate this. Do we lose? No, we don't lose because we threw out the green mill. So this is going to be like potentially good. They'll probably just trash this, I would assume. Yeah, they've got money to burn. Okay, so our line for like winning next turn is not there anymore. So I'm back to thinking that we probably purge. As to what we like throw out, that's less determined. It might. Okay, now getting rid of the hearts and minds, which I think is absolutely correct. You can't let this card like sit on board. Let's see if they pop the cement at last click. We don't have enough money to go for a big oppo. Otherwise, that could be an option, but they could just clear down to 1. So I don't think it's a good option. Like, I feel like actually a single oppo is probably correct in this deck. Like, it's quite... We don't really have the money for it. We just need the scare factor. Okay, they are on Gauss, so they can get through this tree line. And they probably want to next turn. This turn, I'm just going to purge. So I'm not going to pop Rashida. That's fine. That means that we can throw out the powers of P. Like, Gauss is good through the tree line once, but they still have to boost. Okay, well, now they have money again, but we've successfully cooked our Rashida. We don't get any hearts and mind triggers, which is a shame. Do we shuffle back? I think I want to keep this degree mill in the bin, so no. As much as I'd love a hearts and minds back. Okay. So options here. Oh, we have a hearts and minds. Let's see. So I think we're gonna just play this subliminal. This wraparound does nothing, so we can bin that. That's absolutely fine. The Vladisburst goes in server 4, without a doubt. Potentially something goes in front of it. Might well be this Mesnachesto, but we might also want to be aware of just losing to deep dive. We've seen 2 trick shots already. I think we do this first. We're going to put the Vlad grid in 4. I think we put the AR enhanced in 4 as well. Because if they don't run, like, how bad is it if they steal this AR enhanced? Maybe actually, no, so we put the hearts and minds out as well. And then we put the Mesnachesto probably on R&D. Money is an issue, but we can fast advance out this AR enhanced next turn, depending on what they do. I mean, almost they'd have to trash both the hearts and they'd have to trash the Vladisburst City Grid. Actually, is the real answer. But that means getting through here. That's pretty good for us. So here they can run the hearts and minds. We'll get our counter. They possibly copulate. By the way, did you know moles were renamed to Conitania? Their original name used to be ground vole, but they are not related to voles at all. Question is, actually, are they amphibious or mammalian? DJ Ketzel! Okay, I mean, you know, this is like pretty solid. We're gonna have to like oppo him next turn. Here they kind of have to trash this. Takes them down to like, oh no, they copulate it. Very nice. Okay, that turns off oppo, unfortunately. So the wraparound still does nothing, unfortunately. We might have to put the Starlit Knight. Chat, I forbid you to ever do this unless it's correct. No, it's almost always correct. You should always DJ Ketzel. Okay, that's not a lie. But if you ever see any deck which has like tree lines in it, like DJ Ketzel is 100% correct. Like I stand by that. I think we get back a Hearts and Might. The other thing, no, we actually have to get back a Vlagrid here. Crap, we only have. Here's one Vlagrid. There's another one in the bin. We're actually we have slight issues here. Oh, that's not. Can we oppo? Did they trash something? Wraparound taxes for 1. Yeah, 1. Did they trash something? Yeah, they trashed the Hearts and Minds. Can we jam this turn? The other thing we try and jam is we try and jam the Degree Mill. We play Degree Mill, Starlit Knight, which we can't res, and then we play an oppo. I think we do this. We put Starlit Knight on 4. Or we just take a credit and then we oppo. And they have to like Fermenter, clear 2 tags, or take a credit, clear 2 tags. They can still run this. Or we take a credit. Oh, maybe we take a credit and we big oppo, right? If they run HQ, we can still res this pop-up window. Yeah. Sure. Maybe this is terrible because they can just pop the fermenter and clear 3. Which is quite bad for us, but I guess then we go like credit, trash Ketzel. Unless they have exactly a Hannah Wheels, in which case they can install Hannah Wheels, run here. Oh, this is really good for us because we get to res. But they probably do steal the Degree Mill here. So that's annoying. I guess it Spires. I think they pop the copulation here, or are they just going for a single? What do we advance? Don't really want to advance the AR enhanced, but then we could score it out next turn, so let's do it anyway. This is potentially bad. Yeah. So they're going to be at like 6 points. And if they have exactly a trick shot in hand, then they might be at more than 6. At least we get another credit from this pop-up window as they trick shots. The really bad thing here, which is absolutely hilarious, is that if we draw a king making, we can't score. We can't win off the king making into AL. Oh, we do have the trick shot. Oh, we're just gonna lose to a trick shot. Maybe. Well, no, I don't know. This play was always there. I think compilation is a busted ass card. Okay, we don't lose this turn, so that's something. The problem is we don't win next turn either. At least we can trash their Quetzal. How has our econ been? I mean, it's been like okay. This whole game has been like an absolute fight of econ for both of them. So like, it's not been big, but you know, what have you. Okay, we've got another Oppo, which we can't really do anything with. So we could draw, but we're not drawing an agenda because they've seen the top 2. So they've seen this. I think we have to trash the Quetzal. This is really unfortunate. I think we draw once there's something to jam in this server. That's something to jam outside the server. This is weirdly good for us. Although I assume we're just getting deep dove here, so maybe not. Trash cohort? That makes sense. Yeah, we are getting deep divin. Oh well. Hey, we had a good game. It was solid. GG. I need to look back at that one. I feel like there were a couple of turns where we probably just played it slightly wrong. But we nearly have it. We need a tiny bit more econ. We do need a tiny bit more econ. So let's like look back at. Oh my gosh, it's like 10:30 already. Thanks for the game. Yeah, I'm gonna do save replay and look back at this. Save replay. Okay. Let's see where we could have done better. Stats. Because I quite liked our start, to be honest. Launch replay. Okay. So, speed this up a little bit. Oh, this one here. So, start off with, we've got our like Vig, Hearts and Minds. I guess maybe like putting the Hearts and Minds out so early. No, I think this was necessary just in case Theo decided like not to run anywhere. This Vig does like Theo does have to come and trash this, and it does cost him 4 whenever he trashes one of these. So that like feels quite good. I feel like there was a turn like maybe here where we just should have jammed a Beal instead. Like this, one of these should have been a Beal along with the powers that be. Maybe that would have been bad because Beal ends up checking all of them. Never checks this flag grid. I guess like DJ Quetzal is like game winning here. And if we had more money and we could have res dice after the oppo. Yeah, I think that's just it. We just need a little bit more money. I'm just going to adjust it slightly. So we could play NGO, which is quite good. We could play a third pop-up window, but I think that's not correct. This is very expensive, but it kind of has nearly won us a game. It seems mental to not have free Messer Chesto. The tree lines have also been really good. I'm actually pretty happy with this ice suite. The wraparound has been the only like letdown, but we haven't played against decks which are specifically good against it. The question is, have the YDLs done like anything particularly impressive? And I think the answer is no. So I think these become either NGOs or hedge funds or regoliths. Planogram is also actually like Planogram is potentially better than them. We do have tag stuff. Like if they have a single tag, playing a Planogram can be pretty sick. I think I might want to play a second shipment. And then it's like either planograms. Do we keep playing the like one reversed accounts? Like these are the questionable cards, right? Like I like all of these. We haven't drawn a single cohort as well, which is potentially an issue. We will go to 2 Vig, 2 NGO front. And maybe 2 predictive planogram, dropping to a single subliminal because we've lost the YDLs. We could have maxed our YDL a bit better in the game. Yeah, we could have, definitely. And possibly should have. It just was a like weird turn to be able to do it. Normally I'm a big fan of like rezzing. Oh, we still have an influence to spend somewhere. Maybe this just becomes third tree line. I mean, it's more expensive, which is a problem. But this let's try with this. We have a little bit more money now, right? I mean, we don't have the YDLs anymore, but what did we put in? I've forgotten. We put in some NGO fronts. They are technically money. We're gonna save that and try it. Cool. The other thing would be to put in like a third cohort. But then I think we want to be back on subliminal messagings because I really like. Oh, we've got Ralph Nater. Maybe it's me, but I feel like this would be lovely in Epiphany. Yeah, potentially. Like, 419. I mean, I'm glad we put some more money in. This seems like a bad opening start. This seems like maybe it's better. We can do this. Reza Spin Doctor. We can put. I think it's the Messenger Chesto on HQ. It's either that or it's the tree line. And we install the cohort as well. So then we can res both. Let's put the Messenger Chesto on HQ. And maybe we put a tree line on R&D. The only bad thing about this is that it's given them bravado targets, which is sometimes a bad thing. Kagslab, Theo, I remade my grid draft cube. Ooh, that sounds incredibly fun. We're gonna get a Prav trigger here. I think we're doing the Messner chest though. Probably seems like the correct thing. Okay, we've got a turtle really early, and we've just taken the wraparound out, so that kind of sucks. We are. Oh, I really don't want to take a bad pub. But I think we have to take one bad pub. That's like super unfortunate. I don't see how we like come back from 0 credits otherwise. Can we give them a turtle counter? Yeah, I think we can. No. We're just going to give you a turtle counter. We're going to try and put this out, and then it's whether we actually try and turtle up, and I don't think we do. Do we consider superconducting hub with kingmaking for UYDF? I mean, that is something. It means that we're then playing a ton of agendas, which is like super spooky. I'm not totally against it though. They've installed a wait, which is like hype as long as this Messenger Chester gets res before it gets bounced. We need to trash something from our hand. We will res here. We don't have to remove a counter, so we won't. And now they can go and they can't actually trash this. They don't have enough money, so that's cool. And we get a counter somewhere. We'll probably start making this tree line a bit beefy. I think we're trashing the cohort right now. Oh, they knew what this was as well, as in we showed them. So we could purge here. We've got an NGO, but we want to get that in a service somewhere. Like, purging feels real bad because I think we are going to just be putting assets out on the table and, like, saying go ahead and run them. So I think we can... can we and should we draw one? We lost to Miss Bones, which is actually really cool. As in fast. We'll put this in new remote. We're going to not pay. I'm going to, like, kind of... say that we don't care about turtle, at least for the time being. We could definitely try like the king making superconducting hub thing. It does seem fun, as in it is fun. I know it's fun. It's just whether whether we just lose to bleeding agendas like really quickly or not. It's interesting. Do we throw out the king making here with the cohort? Or do we flip up? I'll tell you what, we might actually flip up the Oppo to put an extra counter on the Vig. Kind of forcing them to trash the Vig. Oh, we're going to just go and get rid of the cohort and then we don't have to worry about it. That's fine. We'll res this Vig. That's a bit more expensive for you to trash, so that's good. We will go. What do we do with NGO is the real big question. Can't really install it without advancing it. We could just purge here. It might be fine. It's really bad actually. They've got like big amount of stuff ticking up. And we don't really have anything coming in next turn. I don't want to purge it. I'm probably gonna install this NGO front. Installing the Hearts of Mine seems real bad when they've got a bad pub as much as like something, isn't it? Maybe we put these out and we see if we get a free NGO trigger, but I don't think we will. That's interesting. I don't actually know here. I don't want to install advanced in NGO. It feels awful. It's not a good way of making money. is a really bad way of making money. They're gonna run all our stuff. We've already seen that. We'll just take 3. Feels pretty bad if they do for us. They've got no cards in hand. They're not going to doof us. They'd have to draw into a card that is exactly doof. They can do one more draw, and then if it's diversion, and then they have just enough money to get in, like sets us back. But this counter is going to go. If it goes on the Vig, they go and trash the Vig, but maybe that's fine. Cost them 3 real credits. Oh, we're going to pay 5 here. You're not having too bad, pub. And we do have, like, stuff coming in now. Right, this can go in the server now. And then we can take... we will... Oh, here... So we'll do this in a new remote. We'll not pay. We will advance this once. This is the one time I'm okay with doing it. We're going to put this in server 2. We're going to res this so that we don't get whatever. Install advanced NGO behind ice. Issue with install advanced behind the ice is that at the moment they break it. Once I feel like we're in some vaguely comfortable position, then we'll like purge out and like force them to build up counters. This is fine. We're going to put an advancement here. So here we might, this is where we might purge, because we can res this if we need to. They can run to get turtle counters, but we benefit from them running to gain turtle counters. So unless they're doing something as well, we're actually okay with that. They're checking here. I think we probably do res this. Don't you need to ice all centrals before purging? Yeah, possibly, but not exactly, because we actually still do want them to run. They might not run a message. Yeah, I guess they don't know that it's not a message. So the question is, do we want to like boost this tree line more? No, I think we're going to boost this. I think they should and have to trash this, yeah. Absolutely. Checking getting the spin doctor. So here we'll get back. What do we need? We probably need money against 419. Like the Oppo research is going to be really hard to land. So I think right now we possibly get cohort and maybe NGO front. Pulling them through a remote is not that great. Or powers that be. I'm going to get these two back. Okay. We can put our hearts and minds out. That's pretty sick. And then we'll take 2 credits. As much as we'd love to put 2 things out. We don't want to protect the hearts and minds. So so here we're going to put this in the new remote. We will actually protect the centrals. We're going to pay 1. We're going to put this on archives and then we'll take a credit. And we might get to the point where we can fast advance out this king making. Here we'll just boost this tree line. They can obviously any time they want to, they can boomerang this this tree line, which is a problem. Checking R&D here. Makes sense. We can't really res anything nasty. Like worst would be a BSA, I guess. They might just charge counter here. Nope, they get class act down. Makes sense. We need at least 5 credits to fast advance out with the king making. So we're going to take some credits here. They might have a doof, but they'd need like boomerang plus doof. That's actually really expensive, and we're not that. We don't really mind that. I don't think. We mind that more. Here we will boost. I feel like maybe this tree line. I don't want to put more. I don't want to invest too many more credits on here. Oh, I find it. Damn. They're poor though. We could land an Oppo now if we hadn't like thrown them all away. Do we want to spin doctor? I don't think we do, so I think we're gonna just click for credits. Because at the moment we can now technically res both of these pieces of ice, and the more they run, the worse these ice get, which is quite nice. We now have enough money to fast advance out something mean. Do we cripple ourselves economically to trash that Earthrise Hotel? It will cost us 3, 4, 5, 6 credits. And we then won't be able to res this tree line. Is that worth doing? Don't know. I'm kind of might do it though, because it feels rude enough. This would cost 7 if we want to pay. I think we can't pay for this, so we're just gonna do. Like probably incorrect. Thanos is all with the trashing the Earthrise though, so I'm down with it. And now if they just click for credits and clear a tag, then that feels pretty good to us. Yeah. Okay, it was totally worth it. I wish we'd had the powers that be, but we didn't have any Rashidas anyway, so I think that's okay. We could install some stuff giving them a counter. We also want to click for some credits, so I think we're just going to click credits. We can throw out shit. Install shit. Oh yeah, install Headline and Hearts and Minds actually might have been a pretty sick turn. Yeah, I do like that. So here, I think it's quite tempting. Yeah, correctness is a state of mind. So here we either put the powers that be out, protecting it with like a pop-up window, which is like just annoying enough for them to not be able to like. And if they go and trash this, then that's quite good for us. Or we start advancing this. I think that's probably a bad idea. I want to put out 3 things, and then I want to purge maybe next turn, or take some credits. So we either just show them what these are. I think we can show them what these are. No, you can see what that is. We're going to protect it. We're going to take it. We're going to put spin. Maybe we put spin doctor in server 2. Kind of make them want to run it because they'll think it's an agenda. Like this is like being able to show that this is the powers of me makes this look so much like an agenda. That's like kind of funky. Quite like it. The big question is what we do next turn if they don't run anywhere, which I don't think they will, and I don't think they should. We either purge or we click for credits, and it might be a little bit of one and then a little bit of the other the next turn. Okay, we will res this now. Okay, so in a moment I'm liking next turn purge. Because we can always throw out this degree mill. Why not powers it be on the table to advance the grid? Because I mean it is, but I actually do want to kind of protect it. Oh, interesting. I think we sack their money here, right? This is quite bad if they steal this, but also like, don't. I mean, they shuffle the class act back. Yeah, they can't break this. So are they just going back? Oh, with Hearts and Minds. Yeah, Hearts and Minds might have been a good option. Here we either advance the Chesto or we advance the grid. I think we do the Chesto because we don't have an agenda to score yet. So here we can purge throwing out this degree mill, unless we want to install the degree mill next turn along with the Hearts and Minds in a new server, and then we advance this once. That's actually a play. I'm going to purge here, and I'm going to throw out a Vlad City grid, which is absolutely wild. But I think I want all of these last things. Like, the predictive is really, really good against 419 because I can bounce back from nothing. I guess throwing out the second shipment was probably better, actually. Like, we're probably not tagging them this game at all. So yeah, the shipment was definitely correct. Okay, Hermes. Are we rezzing here? I think we're not rezzing. They get counters, but that's okay. They're going to get a lot of counters, actually. Well, they're going to see a lot of cards. I forgot they had this weight down. Do we want to res anything here? They can't trash this if they run it in the moment. I think we just advance a tree line. We're not going to be fast advancing out next turn. We do need a counter on the Vlad grid, actually, to make this play. So let's put a counter here. Okay, there's one. Let's see what they bounce. Oh, it's probably this ice on R&D. I guess, like, rezzing this ice was probably worth it. Okay. They can't trash this, right? Our pop-up window did not do enough. Am I shuffling now? Is the big question. I really don't want to. And right now, top of R&D is safe. So I think I want to keep it that way. I mean, they win if they get in here, but I think we have to make the play. Which is to not shuffle. There's no powers. So we'll go... So if they go run, 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 there'll be 5 counters. So we're going to go this on... I think we do put this back on server 7. We will... pay 1. If they go run, 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 there'll be 5 counters. We've decided that's okay. But this is a new remote. We'll over-install the spin doctor. Install boomerang run wins them the game. But this one's like quickly getting away from us, so I feel like we probably have to make a big old move. Now, if they don't run anywhere, we actually get... I mean, I guess it's actually the same. It's 1 click less. if they don't run anywhere. If they run somewhere, we get the advancement for free. If they don't run somewhere, then we can res for hearts and minds, and we can move in advancement. Okay, bravado makes sense. Now R&D is safe. That's why I didn't shuffle with Spin Doctor. So I know that the Hermes bounce isn't coming. I think R&D is still safe because I'm pretty sure it's sort of free. Running archives makes sense. We will advance. I think we don't advance the degree mill, right? We just always advance the Vlad grid, so that it's not obvious. Okay, unless they pinhole it, which is definitely something they can do. So then we probably should advance the degree mill. No, but this is fine. We can still score out with the degree mill. And this costs them a lot of money. Okay, so putting out the hearts and minds feels pretty sick. We're going to move a counter from here to here. We're going to place a counter there. We're going to res this. We're going to go advance, advance, advance. We're going to score. What do we get back here? If we put the NGO, that's quite funny actually. They have to run somewhere. So it's either the NGO or the spin. I think it might be the NGO in server 2 because this is 5 strength. They'll be at 4, so we can still put this in server 2. We don't pay. Oh, they can Hermes. Yeah, I forgot about Hermes. Yep, forgot about Hermes. Okay, fine. Why not move counters on the Vlad? Oh, Kakasclab, you're so correct. Because I'm an idiot? Yeah, I should have had like 2 more turns. I should have had 2 more clicks there. That was really dumb. That was just straight up forgetting how this card works. So that's on me. Next turn we can bounce back with predictive, which is quite nice. We won't res it. We'll put a counter on this tree line. And that's not great for us. That's really bad for us. GG. I'm disappointed that Prav didn't pull up any wins tonight. I think it got incredibly close. It nearly pulled itself back from like the most brutal like start like ever. But it didn't win any. So, you know, take that as you like. It felt a bit poor. It needs like a different econ package. Maybe the Vigs are wrong. Who knows? We actually had enough stuff to be advancing, so I might be incorrect about the Vigs. You just always need stuff to advance on the board. That's it for tonight. Next week, I'm actually not around. I'm seeing Fat Freddy's Drop live, who are like my favourite band. Can't wait. Playing in Bristol as well. Don't even have to go far. Got a babysitter sorted. It's going to be great. But I will probably be doing some other streaming stuff. For example, I might be able to do some little bits and pieces in the days, as I'm not going to be working for most of the rest of December, and that means that maybe I can have a look into some of the alternative formats which are coming up, do a bit of weird deck building. We'll see what kind of amount of time. Thanks everyone for dropping in and checking out the stream. Thanks everyone who I got to play against today. Always a pleasure to have everyone around. I won't see you next Monday. I might do a like cheeky stream at some other point instead. We shall find out. But until then, thanks everyone, and ciao for now.